Hey, can you see me? Can you see us? Can you hear us? I'm Michael Govier. He's Christopher Deary. It's the Pallazzo Podcast. 2L2.
Utah. Give me two.
Two. It's September 1st, Deary. It's the final month of the baseball season. Well, technically, it ends in October, but this is it, man. What do you think?
Fantasy-wise and head-to-head leagues, you got 3-4 weeks left. Playoffs start in a lot of different leagues next week. So, we're gearing up here towards the end. God, it's gone by fast.
Where did the time go, Deary? Where have we been? Who are we? How did we get here? What is the point of life?
Thank you, Jesus!
We're all going to die at some point, right?
No, just relax. Think about Christ. He's there for you.
Thank you, Jesus!
Thank you, Jesus. All right, Pallazzo Podcast. We got a show for you. Me and Deary are going to talk about a few different things. We're going to talk about the Pallazzo Podcast Invitational standings. We're going to have a trophy. We've come together on a trophy arrangement. We'll keep you posted on that. Hopefully it'll be done in time by the end of the season so we can give it to Richard Sands, who will very likely be our winner, barring some type of miracle, right?
Well, it's been domination for months now. I think he took over first place probably early June, and he has held on to that since he took over. So obviously I'm still down bottom of the barrel. I kind of checked out for the last few weeks here. Yes, it's possible. People check out in fantasy.
Oh, well, I'll tell you this, man. It's not easy in the stretch run when your team sucks and you feel like you got nothing to live for. That's why fantasy football takes over and dominates. People start focusing on their team. Hey, fantasy football's here to save me. Thank you, fantasy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesus.
I did my first fantasy football draft the other night on Monday. I had done zero research. I just listened to podcasts all day just to kind of figure out what was going on. And I don't know. My team probably sucks. But who knows? It's football. It's still a crapshoot.
Come on, man. You know what? You got to be careful there. If you're not prepared, you might fall behind and look like a fool, man.
So you're the big champ in this league, too, and I think I did zero research last year.
You got to check yourself, man. Seriously, when it comes to fantasy football, check yourself before you wreck yourself, okay?
Well, my focus is these two fantasy leagues where I'm going for titles. That's what I'm going
Title
for.
Time!
I sure hope so. I've made some moves. I've made some jump in the standings. Looks like I'm going to be in the playoffs in both these leagues, and we'll just see what happens here. I'm trying to get the right pitching matchups for next week.
I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith.
Don't do it.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run.
And Castianos.
And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game.
I heard Nick was getting his
had a big
check
day
today.
Yeah, he had a big day. He had a grand slam, and he had 6 RBIs within the first 2 innings. That's exciting.
Yeah, check that bat.
Oh, who's cheating? Caught you doing some cheating. Sometimes you got to do some cheating. That's how it goes, dude.
Cheating.
Doing some cheating. Oh, he's a friend. Shout out to our friend Jay out there. Hope he's doing well. He doesn't listen to this show. I wouldn't expect him to. He doesn't like baseball, but he doesn't like sports, really.
He's a disc golf guy.
Yeah, he's turned into Jeff Danes, the fucking disc golf psycho. I cannot believe it. I'm still kind of blown away by that, but there's worse things to be dedicated to. I will say that.
Sure. He's outside being active.
Hey, you're outside being active, Jay. Good for you. Doing some cheating? I hope you're not. But you did invent the terminology, so if you cheat, that's the perfect cover. Well, I invented the term. Why would I do with cheating? You know, I invented
cheating.
It's an alibi. It's a fucking alibi, man. You better run a check. Anyways, we're going to talk about the Pallazzo Invitational, the trophy, new followers. We'll do the catch of the day. We'll talk about September call-ups. Name that runner-up fab bid, which is always a fun game to play. We're still playing it, believe it or not. I got a lot of leagues that are still rolling along. My main event, TGFBI. The tag team league that me and Eric Cross are in first place still. So that's the one we're trying to lock down for sure. Eloy Jimenez has been a huge boost for us, which has been fantastic. And we'll talk about 2 players, 2 keepers. 2 guys that you might decide, hey, should I keep this person or this person? As we head into the 2021 offseason, 2022 offseason, and 2022 season, whenever that will be, because don't forget, there's a CBA nightmare that nobody's talking about right now. Nobody's talking about it. But it's coming, right, Deary?
As soon as the season ends, that's all everyone's going to talk about. I think everyone's just trying to enjoy this last month and this excellent race that we're going to have for the wild cards and hopefully a fantastic playoff. And then the letdown will begin.
And reason will prevail.
Reason will prevail.
Reason will not prevail. This is the CBA. This is Major League Baseball. This is the MLBPA. These people are pissed. There's a lot of tension. It's like a marriage that is just totally over. You know it's over. They know it's over. But due to religious reasons, you can't get a divorce. So you try to figure out, well, how can we, salvage this son of a bitch? Because we're not getting divorced. Could we have separate partners? No. Well, you kind of can. You could have minor league, and you could have the Atlantic League, or the independent ball, where you try out different things like they are with the 61.5-foot mound and the DH switcheroo, which if you pull, do you know how that one works in the Atlantic League, where you pull the DH, or you pull your starting pitcher, you lose your DH for the game? Have you heard about that one?
No.
It's for real. It's a real thing. So
that's fine. They can do all that wacky stuff in the minors. As long as they don't change shit in the majors too much, I'll be okay.
What'd you say?
I tell you what, they move the mound back, I'm done.
Really?
Yeah, I'm done. I won't watch baseball.
But they did it before. This is before we were born. They did it, Deary.
Yeah, but it's the perfect spot now. Don't keep doing it, man. I'm not for it.
I don't know if I can concur with that, man. I don't know.
Dr. Harris.
Yes?
Do you concur?
Concur with what, sir?
With what Dr. Ashland just said. Do you concur?
No, I don't. I can't concur with what Deary just said. Dr. Deary's a wise man. He knows baseball, but if they move the mound back, I'll adjust to it, and then I'll gamble on it and win money. I mean, fantasy baseball's gambling. Everybody out there knows it. You know it's not a secret. It's for all the nerds who like to gamble in private. Nerd! You're all out there. I know what you're up to.
You all know what you're doing.
Yeah, they have fucking A right. They know what they're doing. So we'll cover all that stuff. I'm really looking forward to that last segment, though. We're going to talk about guys that you're struggling. We're talking about the back end of your keeper leagues. Like if you're in a 10-player, 12-player, 15-player, not full-on dynasty, but the keeper leagues. The keeper leagues get lost in the shuffle, and we want to make sure that we cover that. We've talked about them before during the season, but it's been a minute, and you guys deserve the time and energy. So we're going to give it to you because that's what you want. And yeah, it's gonna be a great show. I'm over at Fantrax now too, by the way. I'm doing Fantrax work for football. I'll do a little bit of baseball too, but I kind of went over there for the football stuff because fantasy football's starting up, and I need an outlet, Deary. Yeah,
you need a home squad right now. Congratulations again, man. That's an awesome opportunity. Some great people over there at Fantrax. So upward and onward, my friend.
Yay! I'm also at the AAA team too, so I'm working with Mendy,
our guys,
and all
man.
our pals there. Yeah, we love the AAA crew.
Yeah. Friends of the pod. Friends of ours. Friends of yours.
This is a friend of mine. A friend of ours. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. In fact, I did my first video for Triple Play over the weekend, and it was on Ramondre Stevenson. He's getting all the hype and all. Do you know who Ramondre Stevenson is, Deary?
He's on the Patriots, correct?
That's right. See, you still know sports.
Yeah,
very good.
I know. Yeah.
Nice job. I wasn't sure you might get that one. Yes.
No, I know. Sony Michelle is gone now there, and you got White and the other guy, and Mac Jones is starting quarterback. Now I know a little bit, man. I know a little bit what's going on.
Well, there's also Brandon Bolden. He never leaves either. So yes, James White, Brandon Bolden.
This is a friend of mine.
They're all there. So it's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to doing more videos for Triple Play. It'll focus on a lot of the football stuff. Might even do basketball once basketball gets rolling. I love all this shit. I just don't focus it on here. The Pallazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah.
We do fantasy baseball
Give me 2.
here. And maybe, we started, for those of you that don't know, some of you do know, we started as the Sharp Idiots back in September of 2019. Me and Deary and Jamie, our friend Jamie. It was actually a 3-person show, right?
Sure was. Yep,
And
right
you
up
came
there
up
in your
with that
guys'
name.
apartment.
Yeah, it was a great name. Sharp Idiots. I really thought it was a great name, but then we switched to baseball in January of 2020, and I said, let's go with the Pallazzo Podcast, which Deary thought was stupid, and it is stupid. It's a stupid name. But
I warmed up to it pretty quick. I love it now.
It's a dumb name, I admit it. We'd probably be bigger. We'd probably have a little bit more pub if we had like a simpler baseball name, but I wouldn't have it any other way because this represents who we are. So.
No, I agree. I actually think we got more of a following because of the name of this podcast, because it is so unique.
No shit.
Utah.
Well, we
Give me 2.
wouldn't have the Gary Busey drop without it. This show would not be the same without 2 L's, 2 Z's. So thank you guys for a wonderful year. Might as well say it now. It's been a big, huge year for us. Last year was our rookie season. This year was our sophomore slump. But no, we have absolutely grown. I, in fact, looked at the numbers the other day, yesterday, and I was actually shocked by the amount of downloads we have now. We're really making some headway, and we're growing. And we've had a rock-solid follow-up to our debut year.
Yeah, I would say we've done, maybe 100 episodes this year? I mean, that's incredible.
Holy shit. Really?
Sounds about right, yeah.
I don't even know, man. I don't even know, man.
I think we're at episode 161.
Straight cash, homie. That sounds awesome. No, you're including all the World Series ones we did last year, too.
Yeah.
Remember that with the bracket? Because we didn't label those as numbered. So technically, this is episode 122, but you're right. It's really more like 160-something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Deary is correct. You are correct, sir.
Yeah, we did some dumb shit last year, but we had no idea what was going on, man. We're rooks.
There it is from my guy, direct from the source. I love Deary.
We got that from the source. There you are.
You got some new drops this week. I'm digging it.
Yeah, I'm just going apeshit on the drops.
Yeah, man. We probably don't have many episodes left, at least, before the end of this season. So let's just go hog wild here.
I agree. Nothing pisses me off more than when you're in jail and people are talking shit in the holding tank. You know what I mean?
I've been there.
I hate motherfuckers claiming that they folding bank, but steady talking shit in the holding tank.
Don't do it. It's not cool. Don't fold bank and then talk shit in the holding tank. People will bust your ass for it. Trust me. All right. So where are we? Yes. Russell says true. Thank you, Russell. Good to see you, my friend. Make sure you always follow Russell. He's the best follow in the business. And you can check out the old episode he did with us, which is not that old at all. August 5th, he was on the Pallazzo Podcast. We'll probably do one more episode per week, me and Deary, until the season ends. And then we'll sit down and have our offseason plan because we got to, it's been a great year, like we said, but we got to do it better. We got to take it up to another level for next year, right, Deary?
Yeah, we'll do some housekeeping at the end of the season, look at some of our projections and predictions and where we failed and where we succeeded. And then it's getting close to winter meetings, and we're not going anywhere. We will be here all off season for you, as long as Mike has the time with this fantasy football stuff going.
Oh, come on. The Pallazzo Podcast will always be a priority in my life. I'll never
that warms my heart.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm getting paid millions to do what I do. This show is our baby. We've built this thing from the ground up, and Pallazzo Podcast is going to be a major part of your fantasy baseball experience going forward. I'm excited. I'm excited about it. Woohoo! Yippee! Ha-ha! Yay! All right. So we covered that. This is also brought to you by rotofanatic.com. Don't forget that. We have a new podcast at Rotofanatic called The Half Hour Variety Show. We want you to check it out. You can follow our show on the content channel. This is at the Rotofanatic content channel. It's on all standard podcast platforms. Rotofanatic content channel. Check that out. We got a new episode coming out tomorrow. It's basically just a potpourri, a hodgepodge from everybody at Rotofanatic. A little bit of this, a little bit of Carmen Arano, a little bit of Paul Mamino, a little bit of Matt Williams, a little bit of Mike Carter, a little bit of everybody. And then it's a half hour or less. So it's very quick and simple, but it basically covers everything. And in a world of too much information, Deary, I mean, we have a shitload of info these days. It's hard to keep track. This is the kind of show that can really help you organize and keep things simpler and quick and to the point.
Oh, it's a smart idea. Quick 30-minute segments, get as much information out there as possible and stuff that's relevant to where we are in the season, which I absolutely dig. So another great addition to the Rotofanatic network.
Woohoo! Yay! I'm excited about that. And, of course, there's more to come. So stay tuned on that one. Who knows what we'll do next? Who knows what the next episode will be, the next experience? We are going to have Joe Gentile on next week's show. Joe's a great follow. He knows fantasy baseball, and he's a great dude. He's had a hell of a life. A hell of a life. And if you're into mental health and being supportive of it, make sure you check out the First Day Pod episode he was on a couple of months ago. So check out at First Day Pod on all standard issue platforms just like this, and you can find me and Leanne, my girlfriend. We're doing new episodes every Sunday night at 8 p.m. It's a great show. It's very important, and that's how I feel about it. And Joe's a great guy, seriously. Like, when he told us about his life on that episode, it's fucking bananas. It's incredible that he is where he is today. I'm not even bullshitting you. I'm giving you the straight dope.
Yeah, it's really important when people can open up on a platform like you guys have at the First Pod, be a little vulnerable, and it really connects with so many other people that are going through struggles now or have gone through struggles through the past and have seen the other side. So certainly an excellent pod you got over there at First Day. Shout out to Leanne. Shout out to you guys. Anybody else who has not checked out this pod, it's a great listen.
Yay! A couple shout outs. By the way, shout out to Adalberto Mondesi. Just hit a home run. He's back and he hit a home run. Congratulations to Adalberto Mondesi contributing to possible fantasy championships right now.
Can you believe it? A guy that's just been an absolute wasteland all year. Everyone's just been regretting taking him top 20. Some people took him in the first round. And hell, he might come back here and be healthy and help lead you to a championship. So if you've been able to be patient, scoop him up left and right, or you've had him all year long, hell, who knows, man?
This is how this shit goes, Deary. Guy misses all year long, but if you hang on to him or you were able to pick him up, depending on the type of league you're in, you can still win a title with this guy. Even though he's a train wreck, he's got power, he's got speed, he just can't stay healthy, and it's already been verified by his own GM. So it's a buzzkill, but it's not a buzzkill to win a fantasy title. Money!
Yeah, it's like my Blake Snell. I've held on to him all season. He's had 2 amazing starts in a row, and he's just pushing me up the standings. I love it.
Well, it's business time here at the Pallazzo Podcast. Blake Snell threw 7 innings of no-hit ball and was pulled, Deary. Blake Snell has been the absolute target of a ton of criticism this year, but he's been playing well lately. He's been heating up, and it was shades of what happened in the World Series last year when he got pulled by Kevin Cash in the 6th inning, I think it was. This was Jace Tingler pulling him in the 7th inning last night, but he had pitched 120-some-odd pitches the start before, so they didn't want to risk him, and they pulled him.
Yeah, look, you're playing a shit team last night. You need this guy for the stretch run here. They're trying to make the playoffs here. Obviously, it's going to have to be the wild card because they're way too far out. It's going to have to be the second wild card at best as well. So, right now, I still think they're chasing Cincinnati. So you need Snell to not overpitch and not throw too many pitches and be able to get to that next start so they can use him down the stretch. And hell, they might even need him for the playoffs, especially with Darvish, who looked like trash again today. I think he's having some issues with that back again, and I think they may have rushed him back.
I think he's toast. I saw a great tweet on Twitter today. I wish I could give credit to the tweeter, but so many tweets just fly by your feed all day long. How are you supposed to keep track of all of them? But I do know what the tweet said. It said, Darvish has a 5.88 ERA since May 31st.
That's insane.
So he's not
since
healthy.
May.
He's not healthy then, obviously, right?
No.
Oh, Russell says, Deary, I thought you were done with Snell. I've been pouring out my 40 for you every time he aces.
No, I never dropped him. I gave him one last start, and I think he went like 5 and gave up 3, but he struck out like 9. Sat him a couple starts in a row. I have just held on to him this whole time because there really wasn't any other options of who could replace him in my rotation. I got some other guys that were doing real well, but I tell you what, Russell, he's helping me out right now, so I did not give up on the man.
Oh, Russell, you're so funny. I love that. Keep Deary honest. Keep us honest. Keep all of us honest. Keep it true, Deary. Keep it legit. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's something you need to know. All right, so as far as the standings go, it's Richard Sands to win the Pallazzo Invitational. Just want to remind you guys, he's going to win it. I don't know how he fails at this. There's some other guys, though, that are going to win the individual leagues, which is nice. So even though you won't win the overall trophy, cash. People do like cash, Deary, right? That still matters?
Yeah, cash is king.
Cash is king. And as far as the overall goes, you're not going to catch Richard Sands. Good run. The guy in second place is not going to catch him either, and that's Yancy Eaton. We love Yancy, one of our favorites. But Yancy, it's going to take a miracle for you to pull this one off, I believe. But, oh, wait. Oh, shit. Is this in the... Oh, God. This is in the individual league. Hang on. Overall... Oh, he is a second overall. My bad. Okay.
Oh, so top 2 from the same league, huh?
Yeah, but it's 529 points to 464. That's a huge gap for the overall. I just don't see... I love you, Yancy. You know I love you very much. And Michael Simeone, SB Streamer, he's in 4th place. He's going to win an individual league. Ryan Ireland is in 5th place. And he talked about this on Twitter the other day. We were chatting about the Pallazzo Invitational. He was 5th overall, but 3rd in his league, which sucks. Because you're doing so well overall, but you're 3rd in your own league because you're playing with the best of the best. Buzzkill. Sorry, Ryan. We still love you too, Ryan. In case you don't know, we love all you guys. We love all you very much. Woohoo! Yippee! I love you guys.
Let's make some Pallazzo shirts with just all the guys we love.
I know. We never.
It's gonna have to be one of them like extra long, like kid nightgown shirts. The amount of people we'd have to put on.
We never made a damn shirt. We had a lot of great shirt ideas. At least we're making the fucking trophy, so I can live with that. That's cool.
Well, this will be part of next year's off-season marketing.
Yeah, you're probably right, but it doesn't matter because doing the show and learning about baseball, I am such a better player. Do you think you're a better player now as a fantasy player than you were a year ago?
That's an interesting question. I feel like at the start of the season, I think I was just bombarded with so much information from all of the analysts that we had on, and I did so much deep diving than ever before that I felt like at the start it kind of hindered me during my drafting. I think it's evened out. I think a couple leagues I just got unlucky. TGFBI League has been terrible all season. Pallazzo League has been terrible all season. I think a lot of that did have to do with drafting early, and then a lot of injuries and unluckiness early on. And I've kind of checked out here the last few weeks. But some of my other leagues, the one thing it's been able to keep me engaged with, especially with us doing the pod, being fully engaged on Twitter, reading everything that all these analysts are throwing out, is that it's been able to have me stay ahead of the game with making pickups, evaluating trades. So some of my other leagues I've done really, really well in, and I feel like I've made some championship moves. So I'd have to say yes. This has made me a better player.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it. I know that I'm a better player just because I've thought so much about my analysis and my strategy and everything that has to do with this game. Not just players and knowing the player pool. That's standard issue. But I'm talking about looking at things from a new angle. Head-to-head, points, roto, best ball, knowing what your best league is, too. What's your best format? I think I know what my best format is now. Deary, do you think you have a handle on the format that you should probably be playing the most?
I think it's always going to be head-to-head for me. It's the most...
Really?
Yeah, it's the most fun I have, mainly because all my head-to-head leagues are just leagues that I've been in for years, and I know kind of the strategies of many other people in those leagues. It's guys that I can banter back and forth with. I am glad that I moved into, a best ball league this year, a roto league. So I'm excited to get that started again next year and keep learning on those. Cause I hadn't played, especially a roto league, I hadn't played in so many years, which I do really, really like. And I know it's, in a way, a much more fair way to play than head-to-head. I enjoy head-to-head the most. I enjoy playing with a lot of the people I know. But also some of these other leagues, I've gotten to know a lot of new people that I'd never met before. And, you step into some of these leagues with the big boys that are, on podcasts and writers and all this stuff. They're going to know just as much, if not more than you. But, hey, in the end, the ball still has to shake out a certain way for you to become a successful player. But if you bombard yourself with as much information as possible, you can set yourself up for success when you get into any type of league.
Yeah, I think I'm done with DC's draft champion type leagues, which is what the Pallazzo Podcast Invitational basically is. We still love to do an NFBC style. It's just going to be a different one. I don't think it's for me. I don't want to do them anymore. I wouldn't touch it with the 10-foot pole. It's just not something that I think I'm the best at.
Said I wouldn't touch ya, punk motherfucker.
Yeah, I agree, Ice Cube. I wouldn't touch it at all. So there it is. We've learned. We're growing. We're still learning. What have you guys learned this year? Let us know in the live stream. Share your comments with us. We love to talk turkey with you guys. And we want to say thank you to our new followers on Twitter. We got some interesting followers, such as, I'm not making this up. Some people would think, Govier's just saying bozo phrases again. This is very real, so I want you to know you can follow these people just like me. So how about Bobo the Angsty Zebra? I'm not kidding.
Is this a WWE character from the 80s?
I don't know. It does sound like it. At Bobo Angsty is how you can follow Bobo the Angsty Zebra. Thanks for following us, Bobo. It's great to know you. We got Helmet Cormalis, who followed us. Helmet got into us because of the prospect show we've been doing every Monday. That's with Phil Goyette. You can follow Phil on Twitter at Phil of Sports, PHIL. He's a great follow. He knows prospects. We do a half hour or less, and then we get the hell out of there. That's it. Really quick show, a lot of fun, and you guys love prospects. So if you're horny for prospects, that's your show. Trust me.
Bobo and Helmet.
Yeah, these are you can't make this shit up. I told you. No. And then Gordon Buttersticks with an X.
It's not real.
I'm telling you,
I love these Twitter handles. I need to be more inventive than Deary 1999.
I told you that people think I'm making this shit up, like Jim Burger Sitter. This is Gordon Buttersticks, and you can follow Gordon at Gordon Butter STX.
I'm changing mine to Burfero.
I will say this, Gordon doesn't seem to have anything going on in his feed, so it could be a bot, and that's disappointing, but it's such a great name, I'm going to let it slide. Also, Steve Conley, that sounds like a real name. He's a teacher, grad student, coach, ex-Division I outfielder, and pitcher, by the way, at Hofstra. Good for him. Good to know you, Stephen Conley. And shout out to UK Mets of NYC. Huge New York Mets fan from the UK, passionate about all things baseball. and the MLB. Let's fucking go Mets. By the way, Deary, what did you think about the Mets showdown with the fans this couple days ago? People are pissed. Kevin Pillar, Francisco Lindor, and Javi Baez. By the way,
everything is blowing up there.
Yeah, they're just pissed because they're losing. And I actually think it's cool when players are authentic. They give a thumbs up or they give a thumbs down to the fans that were cheering them because they've been booed so much and they were sick of it. I think it's fresh. I like authenticity, even if it causes a problem.
Yeah, I'm not bothered by it. I mean, and maybe it'd be different if I was a Mets fan. I mean, if you're a Mets fan, you're pretty fucking pissed. I mean, you had a terrible first half, yet you were in first place. Like at the All-Star break, I believe they were in first place and they had a negative run differential. You go out, you make some moves, you get Baez. Obviously, DeGrom's been out for a bit now. And, you know, I mean, Javi Baez is such a polarizing character and baseball player. And, you know, when you're in New York, I mean, you got to be able to perform. I know it's over here in Queens, but look, man, I got no problem with players showing their hearts on their sleeves. And if they're upset with the fans, go ahead and do it. But there's going to be some repercussions when you do that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in this offseason. I think everything's going to get blown up. Feel bad for some of our brethren that are big Mets fans. You know, guys like Matt Williams out there. It's probably been a rough season for them. But, you know, we'll see what happens here in the offseason with the old Miracle Mets.
Matt Williams doesn't get frustrated with the Mets because he always expects the worst. So if it's just going to be status quo with the Mets, and he's like, oh, hey, that's how shit goes. Just another day here. That's how much the Mets can frustrate their fans. But it's not like they're the Cubs of 100-plus years of losing, or the Red Sox when they didn't win World Series, or, I don't know, the White Sox, they went almost 100 years. It's not that bad. The Mets won in 86. They also won a series in 69, the Miracle Mets. So, and they've had a lot of fun teams. So I don't think they have the right to be like the biggest bitchers in the league, you know?
I agree. But it's got to be frustrating for people that have never saw that 86 championship. I mean, that's one of the first baseball memories I have is 86. But I mean, there's many people out there that have never seen them be competitive at all, except for maybe in the, you know, mid 2000s when they, you know, made playoffs a couple times, ALCS or NLCS, and got bounced out there.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. See, you have that state of mind. That's why Deary is the best, and he loves his Tigers, too.
Go Tigers.
Tigers are still doing fine. We never forgot our Tigers, and we never forget you. Pallazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's on Twitter.
Utah.
Of course, C. Deary, 1999 on Twitter, and MJ Govier, G-O-V as in Victor, I-E-R on Twitter. That's how you can connect with us. We love the podcast version, live stream version. Make sure you sub the YouTube channel. It's the same, 2 L's, 2 Z's. We're trying to get to 200 subs. So if you haven't subbed our YouTube channel, just do it right now, real quick, right in this moment. Listen to what I'm saying and say, hey, Mike, you know what? You and Deary have been doing good work this year. I'm going to sub the YouTube channel right now. 2 L's, 2 Z's, Pallazzo Podcast. Please and thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. Well, I think we've done a lot of damage already, Deary. Should we call it a show or should we continue?
Yeah, just put on Belvedere and end it at Belvedere. I know it's been retired. I would like at least one more Belvedere before the end of the season. Maybe we do that in our last show of this season before we get into the offseason. I miss it a little bit.
A Belvedere tribute show. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Maybe we should do like an entire Belvedere tribute show. It's unbelievable the things that have come and gone on the show already. You're right, Deary. I will try to make that happen for you. But in the meantime, let's get into Leading Off. All right, and leading off, we always give you the catch of the day.
Good. Our first catch of the day.
Today, I'm curious who you want to focus on because at this point, it's September 1st. I mentioned Adalberto Mondesi. He's back, and he hit a home run earlier in the show, which is good news. But Nick Castiano stands out because of what happened today a little bit more. Total dominance at the plate, and then they were checking his bat, which is bonkers. I didn't even know that part. You got me there. That's really cool. So Nick Castellanos, is he going to be a top 50 overall pick next year? Top 50.
Ooh. Yeah, I think so. I think the Reds are still going to be lined up to be a pretty competitive team next year. Obviously, they're in this crazy wild card race. I was looking at the standings today, and most of these divisions are basically locked up, which is kind of disappointing. So we're just kind of going to be focusing in on wild card races. But I mean, Nick, 24 home runs, 75 runs, 72 RBIs. Batting 315, I think that's probably the most encouraging part. He had that hot start last year, but then really fizzled down the stretch, ended up at 225. So this is a career high for batting average with him. It's the lowest strikeout rate he's had in a while. Walks have been consistent. He's even swiped a couple bags this year. So he's going to end up being a guy that's, 90 runs, close to 90 RBIs, probably gets close to 30 home runs. So I think that's pretty standard that we're going to see as he gets into his early 30s here. I think he's still, he's just hitting his prime. I think he's probably going to be a top 50 player next year because I think he's going to perform at a level maybe a little higher next year, especially if that average can be at 315. The guy is a doubles monster. So I like Nick Castellanos a lot. I think a lot of people got exactly what they expected out of him this year, which was going to be close to 30 home runs, 90 RBIs, 90 runs, similar to the year, when he left the Tigers and then went on to the Cubs and had that amazing down the stretch run with the Cubs where he just had a shitload of doubles, ended up like fourth most doubles in MLB history, which is crazy. Had over 100 runs that year. So, if he can stay healthy, which he's been able to do, he's played in 110 games this year. I like Nick Castellanos is going to be a very dependable outfielder for you in fantasy next year.
Go Tigers.
Former Tiger, no about it. And he has definitely been kicking ass and taking names, which is something that somebody said a long time ago. It's supposed to be a combination of things that means you're productive. So that's all I know about that phrase. But I do know one thing. He's been doing business all year long, and he's been cashing in. I'm still a little suspect of some of his profile, but as a pure hitter, there's just nothing for me to say. I can't argue that. The guy gets it done. He does business.
Thank you for that.
Dobus, doing business. That's Nick Castellanos, my friend. Anybody else standing out recently? I know baseball's winding down and some of you guys have cashed out, but there's actually people doing stuff. And I've been posting my Govier's guys on Twitter every night, but I've been missing a few nights here and there. I admit it. I've been very busy and I apologize. It's no excuse. It's no excuse. But some of the guys that stood out to me recently, Raphael Devers had a 2-homer game, and he's got 32 bombs on the year now. Vlad Guerrero cracked 40 bombs. His amazing season is incredible. Shohei Ohtani has slowed down with the power, but he's got 22 steals. He stole home.
Yeah, that was
home
crazy.
is so cool.
Yeah, he would have been out if it was a better throw and the ball got out of the glove quicker. But you got to love when that shit happens. You get like a delayed steal going on, and he swipes home. So and he got up and he was genuinely excited. So you got to love a team that's completely out of it. He's kind of been the only bright spot for him this year with Trout being out, Rendon being out. He's been the big bright spot, MVP guy, and still showing that enthusiasm as he crosses home plate. You got to love that.
And that's where the big bucks start rolling in.
They definitely will, Shohei. It's only a matter of time for you. Shohei Ohtani, number 1 overall pick next year?
Oh, man, I can't wait to dive into our top picks next year. Obviously, Corbin Burns has made this huge jump. People are talking about him being top 3 pitcher next year.
Is that on purpose? Are you doing that on purpose?
What are you talking about?
Well, I brought up Shohei Ohtani, possible number 1 pick, and you go right to Corbin Burns as well. 2 guys that I didn't keep in my home league this past offseason.
Oh, really? You didn't keep Corbin Burns? What happened? Kenta Maeda got in your head?
Kenta Maeda just had Tommy John surgery today. Best of luck to Kenta. See you in 2023-ish.
Goodbye. I mean, you just mentioned Vlad Guerrero. I think Vlad Guerrero is certainly a first-round pick. Ohtani's probably going to be up there. I mean, I think Tatis is going number 1. Obviously, Acuna has dropped way down with that injury.
Acuna's top 3 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend on this timeline. I think, some of the early projections I see next year is that people still have him as a first-round pick. I've seen him anywhere from like 5th to like 10th, just depending on, how he recovers from that. But the thing is these guys recover from these knee injuries so much quicker than they had in the past. The medical science is so much way past par than it used to be. So, guys like Wander Franco, that's the one guy I'm really wondering where he's going to be drafted next year. When he came up, obviously he had some struggles, and there's some people that had held on to him. It actually dropped him like in those first couple weeks when he was up. And I'm like, what are you doing? You got to give this guy some time. Luckily for myself, I got to shout myself out, pat myself on the back. I held on to him. He's on this amazing streak of getting on base, hit another home run today. I mean, extrapolate some of these numbers out to a full season, and you're looking at 100 runs, 100 RBIs, over 20 home runs. But I'd like to see more from a guy like him is going to be steals. If he can get closer to 20, 25 steals in a full season, then he's probably going to jump up those boards and maybe be, 2nd, 3rd round pick. But to your original question, Ohtani, top 3.
Well, there it is. Ohtani. Now, this is complicated because if it's in a league where you get both of him and you could choose to play him as a pitcher and a hitter, I think he has to be number 1.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, a non-Yahoo leagues, essentially. Like NFBC, Fantrax, you could decide, hey, am I going to use him as a pitcher or a hitter this week? And that's just incredible value because he's been so good on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I get confusing, even though Tatis has been incredible. But that shoulder needs to get fixed in the offseason here so he can take his career. I mean, Tatis could be, the way he's producing and playing right now, if he stays healthy, which, there it is, he can stay healthy, oh boy. Okay. He could be the best player ever. He really could.
I mean, so he's at 372 at-bats. How many games has he missed? 20?
I think he's missed about 30. If I had to put
30?
a number on it off the top of my head.
That's nuts. He has 86
he's had a couple
runs,
stints.
86 runs, 36 home runs, 81 RBIs, 24 stolen bases, 282 average.
The pace is stupid. That's why, because he's had a couple IL stints. I almost said DL. A couple IL stints already, and that's massive. He's got 430 plate appearances, 102 games, and we got about another 30 games left. So seriously, he's going to get, if he cracks to 130 games played, he's going to have 45 home runs, and a 30-30 season is easily in the bag here. It's incredible. He's really gone up a notch or two this season in my eyes. Everyone loves to talk about Vlad Guerrero Jr. It's awesome. He has really turned heads. But I'm most impressed by Tatis because of the injury and the pace he stays on. It's bonkers. It's totally bonkers. Richard Sands is in the live chat. He says, Mondesi has a combo meal already today. Combo meal, if you don't know what that is, made famous by the ESPN fantasy people. That's a home run and a steal, which is what Mondesi does best. He's like Mr. Combo Meal. Hello, everybody. I'm Mr. Combo Meal, also known as Adalberto Mondesi. That's what you get, Deary. And someone's going to win a title because of him this month. Head-to-head playoffs, Roto League. He's going to close it out for somebody. He really is. Hell, maybe I'll gain a couple points in the Pallazzo Invitational because he'll be back in my roster on Friday.
Yeah, Mondesi, your guy. 12th overall, was it? Oh, you were sleeping when you took him, right?
Who told you that? Who told you that? Come on. That's true. I was. I never lie, folks. Deary calls me out. I got to keep it real.
Go Tigers.
All right, so there it is. Those are some catches of the day to talk about. There's going to be a lot of interesting stuff here as we roll into the September stretch. Remember, 28 players only. No more 40. Yeah, we grew up, Deary, on, hey, it's September. We get all these call-ups. You could have a shitload of bench players on the bench. Not anymore. You only get 2 more players.
A couple guys, and you've probably heard of them, especially if it's a team in the race, guys that are coming back from the DL, like a guy like Dinelson Lamet, guys like that. So, there's a few prospects that we might be able to see here over this last month, but there's also some big names that weren't called up. So,
yeah, people think Spencer Torkelson is getting called up. No, hell
no.
That's not.
Why?
Yeah, it's ludicrous.
Why?
Bobby Witt Jr. is not even getting called up.
Yeah.
So these guys aren't on the 40-man roster, and there's service time manipulations. There's also Rule 5 draft protections for some players. These are all the things you have to consider when you're thinking and you're trying to strategize. Like, hey, is this player going to come up, and can I use him on my fantasy team this season? I wouldn't. There's nothing. I mean, it's September 1st. Have we heard anything great? I know there's minor league playoffs that are in contention for some teams, and that's also important to them. But I don't think there's going to be anything where you're like, wow, that guy got called up. This is huge.
Yeah, there's very few guys that are going to come up that, maybe haven't been on your radar and guys that you could scoop up. I mean, guys that might be getting called up are, guys that you have in deeper leagues that you've just been waiting on, or guys that, like I said, that are coming back from the DL or rehabbing down in AAA or AA.
Well, as far as the Tigers, Riley Green, I wouldn't see that happening either. I know they're both at AAA. It would be really cool to see one of those guys pop in here, but I think you all need to slowly roll, smoke a bowl, chill out, whatever you do to relax. Take a nap, maybe masturbate. There's a lot of ways to relax, and those are a few options for all of you. This is the Pallazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's on Twitter.
Utah.
We're on Instagram.
Give me 2.
I post videos when we do new shows, so you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. No, we're not on TikTok. That's a lie. I'm on TikTok if you want to follow me on TikTok. I started doing it. It's actually kind of fun. I've really enjoyed it recently, Deary. I'm not going to lie. MJ Govier on TikTok if you want to see stupid videos. I saw a girl shoplift at Meijer on Monday. Did you see that?
I saw the video you were telling me about. That's hilarious. And then you told this story at Central Michigan where you just put the hat on. It reminds me of Jamie years ago where we went to Meijer to get some golf balls before we went golfing. He put one of them dumb like bozo fedora hats on his head and just walked out with it, and no one said anything.
That is exactly what happened to me. It was so bogus. We spent $500 there, futons and a mini fridge and blah, blah, blah. But I was so excited, caught up in the moment. It was me and Dave and Ron, our roommate. And I was so excited that I just had this stupid Michigan cap. That was like $12. And as soon as I got to that door, they grabbed my arm and said, "Sir, come with me right away." And I was like, oh. I was totally shocked.
You didn't know, man. You didn't know.
I had no clue.
You were excited. It was welcome week at Central Michigan. You're just trying to stock up.
Hey, Jay-Bird, where you been? Jay-Bird, it's so good to see you. Jay-Bird, I'm going to give you a full-on applause, man. I miss you. I miss Jay-Bird. Jay-Bird was a regular when I was doing the Sunday Fab Show. That was a lot of fun. Had to stop doing that because of softball, and it took up a lot of time. I apologize. I love doing the Sunday show. Maybe I'll try to avoid softball next year on Sundays so we can continue to do that Sunday night show because it's a lot of fun. I haven't played any softball recently, though. My calf injury still has me on the shelf, so...
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. You're still on the IL?
Oh, yeah. I got a lot of empathy for Josh Donaldson, Mike Trout. These guys, Mike Trout, he left May 8th. It's September 1st. He still isn't back. The calf injury, if you ever, trust me on this, just trust me on this. If you ever have a player who comes up with a calf strain and you can have trades, trade him immediately. If it's
it's got to be the worst injury.
It is.
You're springing off of that lower part there. I mean, a hammy or a quad. I mean, I'm not a fucking doctor, but a hammy, a quad, I think manageable. You can come back from those quicker. You see it in the NBA a lot. But I mean, come on, man. The calf. I mean, he's been gone a long, long time. I have one share of him. I'm still going to make the playoffs with him. But damn, devastating injuries with those calf injuries.
They're the worst, man. They're basically foot injuries because it's attached to your foot. So. If foot injuries are major, calves are just as bad. Trust me on this going forward. You have a player in a redraft league that you could trade because he hurts his calf? Do it! Just do it. Trust me on this. Trust me.
I pride myself and think of myself as a man
Shut
of
up,
faith.
Tom. Jay-Bird says he was at Ann Arbor. Daughter's going to University of Michigan. Congratulations. Good for you, Jay-Bird. Isn't that what a... Yeah, I guess. I'm wearing my Michigan sweatshirt that you gave me, Deary. I love this. It's very comfortable.
Oh, you're welcome.
For those on the live stream, you can see it, but if you're on the podcast, you can't. But you can go to the YouTube channel and see this podcast version in video form anytime you want. Pallazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah.
Anytime,
Give
guys.
me 2.
But when it comes to college football, I'm just torn because they've done so many wonderful things. Players can make money now. The Ohio State recruit who skipped his senior year, he's gotten $1.4 million over the next 3 years for an image and likeness deal.
I love it.
Yeah, right? That's awesome.
You see what Hunter Dickinson's doing?
No, what's he doing? Is he doing Happy's commercials?
Big Dickinson Energy. Look it up.
You shouldn't be. That sounds awesome.
He's got a T-shirt that says Big Dickinson with the I as his number 1 because he wears number 1, and then it says Energy. And he's got signed basketballs you can buy, jerseys, a whole bunch of stuff, T-shirts. So he's going to make a killing off that stuff too.
Big Dickinson Energy. That is the kind of shit that is genius. I'm all for it. I'm here for it. Congratulations to Hunter Dickinson. He is a /center for the University of Michigan basketball men's team, and he's a great player too. Very highly touted, and he came back for his sophomore year. So check this out. Look at this. Big Dickinson Energy.
There it is.
There it is. You can zoom in on the Big Dickinson too. Isn't that cool?
Look at that. Unlock it. 10% off.
Wow. The Players Trunk. I've never heard of this. The PlayersTrunk.com. This must be like an image and likeness venture as well, because players can sell their shit in college. That's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it's great. I know we don't talk college basketball, but great move by him to come back to college because, I mean, one, you're playing for perennial power. They're going to be a top 5 team next year. They have the number 1 recruiting class coming in. They got a great transfer coming in. He came back. He's going to make a little bit of dough, maybe get that draft stock up, and hey, congratulations to him.
Oh, absolutely. Good for him. We're all proud of you, and we wish you nothing but the best as you go forward in your college basketball season. Big Dickinson. Big Dickinson. I just love that name. That's so sweet. Jaybird says he was able to catch a Tigers game.
Go Tigers.
Between a Costco and Walmart run. Good weekend. Costco, Walmart, Tigers.
Go Tigers.
What else could you want, Deary?
Oh, out of Ann Arbor? I don't know. Nothing.
Phenomenal cosmic powers.
All right, so there it is on the call up front. I really don't have much for you. In the prospect show that we do with Phil, you're going to learn a lot more about prospects than you would from this show. You can follow that on the podcast and the YouTube channel, folks. You know the drill. I've told you already. Pallazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah, give me 2.
Prospect Power Half Hour with Phil Goyette. Go listen to it, and they're all organized into our playlist that's called Prospects. So they're there in perpetuity, and if you need to know information about your dynasty teams, which basically dynasty is a year-round thing, 365 days a year. So that's the show for you. Otherwise, I'm not really sweating it much. I am curious about prospects who have kind of reached their limit this year, like Logan Gilbert. Like, he's done. You should have dropped him in redraft leagues already. He kind of hit his ceiling, and he kind of imploded recently. We dropped him in our tag team league, me and Eric Cross, by the way, who knows prospects better than Eric Cross. So if Eric Cross was willing to drop him in a redraft league, you know that redraft-wise, Logan Gilbert, bye-bye, time to go. So it's sad, but it happens. Rookie of the Year, real quick, Deary. Are these locks? Is Adolis Garcia going to win it in the American League?
No.
Why not?
Ryan Mountcastle's going to win it because I called it at the start of the year, and he's going to do it. He's been on fire the last 2 months, man. I know he's on the worst team in the league, but hey, man, 25 home runs now, I think, close to 70 RBIs and runs. Excellent year by him. Top 100 player.
God damn it! I don't know how to express myself unless through anger and personal attack. I'm getting very upset.
I have no idea where Garcia's at. I haven't looked at his numbers in months, mainly because I have no shares of him.
Well, he's still hanging tough. He's at almost 30 home runs now, I believe, and that's nothing to sneeze at. He's had a hell of a year. He's slowed down from what he was, which we called on this show many, many times. It doesn't take much to call that, by the way, because you just can't sustain it with that type of K percentage, the whiff percentage he had. But he's got 29 bombs, hitting 250. He's got an OBP of under 3, though, at 297. But he's got a weighted runs created plus of 112. That's not terrible.
Do you think they look at that stuff when they vote for specifically like batters when it comes to like Rookie of the Years and MVPs? Do they look deeper into those, more sabermetric numbers, or is it more of those top 5 or 6 stats that they look at, the runs, home runs, RBIs? And also, does playing for a real shitty team, does that matter at all?
Not for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Kyle Lewis won it last year.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, the Mariners, they were trash. Mariners are good this year, but they were trash last year. I think you're kind of insinuating here that pitching sabermetrics are much more common when it comes to these votes. Is that what you're saying?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
But then again, you look at a guy like Rick Porcello winning it a couple of years ago over Verlander. Verlander blew him away in almost all those stats, but Porcello just had a shit ton of wins. But then you look at a few years before that when Felix Hernandez won it with winning 12 games, 10 games? Who knows?
Yeah, that's tough. That's very tough. I am excited because Rookie of the Year is a fun thing, and it's not always that fun in baseball. With the short season last year, the Bozo season, it made it even less fun because the numbers were totally pointless.
Yeah, what Kyle Lewis do this year?
But to me, the MVPs are obvious. I'm just curious when it comes to prospects and Rookies of the Year. I think it's fun to look at those. And I think that having a guy who's 28, 29 years old as the Rookie of the Year winner is kind of bogus because there's so many guys that work their way up and they are younger, and it's so much more difficult when you're younger in this game to play well. I know Adolis Garcia came out of nowhere, and he earned what he got this year, but he's been around, and I'm just more interested in the guys that are the younger and they're scrapping early on. But others might say, hey, Adolis Garcia, he worked his ass off, and his story is incredibly inspiring. So I can
Bob
see that
Hamlin?
point. Bob Hamlin! Fucking Bob, dude. I've not thought about Bob Hamlin in a minute. But what about Luis Garcia of the Houston Astros? He's been awesome.
Yeah, he sure has. I undervalued a lot of the Astros starting pitching this year that have overperformed, and I did not predict them to win the West, and it looks like it's going to happen.
Luis Garcia is not someone we've talked about enough on this show, and I feel bad about that because he's been a badass. He really he kind of almost took control of that staff, and he never really relented. Some people thought it was all, it's just a temporary run, and he was going to fade away. But he, like Buddy Holly, not fade away. That is not what happened here. And he's really, really an intriguing character. He's 24 years old, and from a dynasty perspective and a keeper perspective, which we'll talk about shortly in more detail, I like him a lot. I'm a big fan. He could strike guys out. He's got a nice pitch mix, and he hasn't been really too lucky or anything based on his stats from what I gather. He is a legit starter who, between Christian Javier and him, Jose Urquidy, I think I like him the best.
Yeah, we haven't talked about him since seriously maybe it was maybe the first month of the season where I was just talking about the great lettuce he had on his head. But we haven't talked about it. We haven't talked about him since. And yeah, talking about a guy that really boosted up his stock for next year. The strikeout rate of 10.52, Ks per nine. That's been
in 130
fantastic.
innings. 130 innings. That's awesome.
3.23 ERA, xFIP 3.68, FIP 3.42. Home run to fly ball rate, 11.8%. Compare that to a Tarek Skubal, which I think is at 99% now. I mean, Jesus Christ, all the guy does is give up home runs. But, man, this guy is a real promising future. And just looking back, if you look at some of his minor league stats, he's a guy that struck out a lot of people and had really good ERAs, but had, somewhat of an issue walking guys. This is the best season he's had through any of his professional baseball career when it comes to limiting guys from getting on base. So this guy's going to be a hammer for this rotation for a while, and I'm really excited to see what he does in the playoffs.
Well, the home runs per nine are up. It's at 1.12 in a year where overall in MLB, the home runs are down. So that's something to take note of. BABIP of 279 is actually, that could be better. Like he could get a little bit more lucky than that, right? So
yeah. I mean, 279 is not terrible. It's fair, but he could do better than that.
Yeah, it's not like 320 or ridiculous like 215 or something. That's what I'm saying. Is he's kind of he's right in the middle there. So it could be worse or better for him depending on how things play out. But I think you hit it on the head. For me, the key here is the walks. If the walks are gone for good, then Luis Garcia is a keeper and a very special player. But if the walks come back next year, that's something that will really blow up his spot. Something to keep an eye on because he had some higher walk per nine ratios in the minors, 4.66 in 65 innings at high A. And he also, this is another thing too, he jumped to the majors from high A. That was the highest level he went to.
Incredible.
Right?
Yeah, high A. A plus was the highest. It was the highest level league he was at, 65 innings pitched. So yeah, he may end up winning Rookie of the Year.
I would love to see that happen. Our own Tiger, Casey Mize, has been good, right? Skubal was good. He might not get there, but I saw a great tweet by my guy Chris Marr, Baseball Pods, who you should always be following. Baseball Pods, one of the best follows on Twitter. Chris Marr said, I would love for Tarek Skubal's ERA to be over 4 at the end of the season so I could get him as a steal in next year's draft.
Oh, God, yeah. Skubal's going to be such a talked about name going into the offseason leading up to drafts next year. I think he's going to be he's not going to be sneaky because people have been able to see him through 133 innings. That K rate is incredible. He just struck out, Tiger rookie record for most strikeouts, 4.26 ERA. So it's probably going to stay over 4. A big lefty. The problem is the home runs, obviously. 19.5% home run to fly ball rate. That's the issue. And that's how he gives up runs in bunches. But when he's not giving up the home run, he seems to leave guys on base. 81.5% left on base percentage through 133 innings. That's really good. 8-12, record. I would take that if you told me at the start of the season that this is what Skubal's numbers would look like. Looking at him all the way across the board and with what Casey Mize did as Tiger fans here, I'd be perfectly fine with the seasons that both of them have put up.
Yeah. Also, remember what you said about Casey Mize coming into the season. How do you feel about that now?
And what did I say? I said, okay.
Christopher Deary.
I said he was going to have arm problems. Now, the one thing I said that was my biggest concern with him is that he doesn't strike people out. And that's exactly what's going on. He's not striking out as many people as I would like to see him strike out. 3.59 ERA. That's just fine. But
right. So how do you feel about it? Do you think, because he's got production at a certain level, but the Ks haven't been where you want them to be. So do you think you're still on track with what you said, or is this just part of the growth?
I still said Skubal was going to be a better starter. I even maybe threw Matt Manning in there at some point, even though we hadn't even really seen him pitch live. I think it's going to maybe take a couple more years for Mr. Manning. The future is bright in Detroit on the mound there. I still, at this point, probably am taking Skubal over Mize just because I like the chances of him striking out more people, and I think he has better stuff to be a Cy Young type guy.
Yep, the Tigers are littered with all kinds of wonderful young players. Eric Haas. Eric Haas has been a nice player as a catcher, 20 home run catcher, dude. That's amazing. So
what a find.
And of course, Akil Badu, our pal, Akil Badu. His father's from Ghana. We love Akil Badu here, and I even mentioned in the song I wrote about him back in the day here, early in the year, which seemed like a lifetime ago. If you haven't heard that song, you can hear it on our YouTube page under the playlist called Songs. All my stupid-ass Bozo songs are available on that playlist. And I said that Rookie of the Year, as a question mark. I kind of left it open at the end of the song. I didn't think he'd actually do it, but he certainly got to be in contention. He's not going to win it, but it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. And he's got a great name, Akil Badu.
Yeah, I mean, you go out and you find a Rule 5 guy who's going to end up being an everyday outfielder for them, or if he just ends up platooning as a great left-handed bat, guy's got speed. I mean, it's a great find. I mean, in stints, he can be a very serviceable fantasy player, but in terms of roster construction in Major League Baseball as a whole, specifically with the Detroit Tigers, it's a great find for them.
What a fine Avila, El Avila, getting the job done. This is the Heads Rico Pallazzo Fantasy Baseball Podcast, presented by RotoFanatic.com. Don't forget, me and Deary are great follows on Twitter. Would you like to follow us? We'll follow you. You follow us, we'll follow you. That's a guarantee. MJ Govier, C. Deary, 1999. That's Deary as in dearly beloved, not as in the hoofed, antlered bozo animal that is constantly in my yard. I have a family of 4 deer that have been living here for a while. They're here. They got 2 little kids. They're a really sweet family. They're very sweet people.
A family of 4.
They're not people, they're animals. So that's actually not true.
Have you named them yet?
You name names. All righty. Well, there you go. We talked a bit about prospects there and some of the call-ups. There's not a ton of call-ups. Like I said, I'm not getting hard on over like, oh my God, we got call-ups galore and I'm crapping my pants. It's just not one of those years. And, with the fact that they changed it to 28, it's not fun. It's not as fun as it used to be, man. I remember there was guys who got called up, and it was just a different time. It was before service time manipulations and all this stuff. It was just a different world, and really cool players that you wanted to see got to put on the Major League uniform, if only for a moment. It's a big moment for them. Some of the guys got to put on a uniform and maybe they never ever would again. Or maybe they got to call up on an opportunity that they never would have had otherwise. And that's what was cool about that rule. And now it's gone. So it kind of takes some of the fun out of it. One guy I want to mention real quick, Dear, I didn't mention. Shane Mcclanahan has been fucking great. And he's already pitched 100 innings. That is so crucial for next season, man. He's got 100 Major League innings already under his belt. So you can count on him for at least, 130 next year, a minimum.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing, as you're preparing, for drafting next year or looking at some of your dynasty squads and some of these guys that, like a Mcclanahan, that he's at 100 innings, 130, 150 is absolutely doable next year. And then you look at other guys who have had like DL stints, a guy like a Jesus Luzardo that I was high on going into the season. And then what happened with Jesus? He got injured. He had some issues hitting the strike zone, and then he got traded. So, we have not got many innings out of him. So he's going to be, drafted way low next year because even if he is, a superstar next year and really breaks out, you're not seeing over 120 innings from him. But a guy like Mcclanahan is great. So when you're preparing for next season, and we did a lot coming into this season, look at those innings pitched. In the previous season. Last year, obviously, was so hard to predict. It's going to be fun to look back at some of these predictions we made on innings pitched to see where anyone's slotted in at. But do your research when you're ending this season, figuring out who you're keeping, who you might want to target. Mcclanahan's a real sneaky guy to go out and grab in a dynasty.
Great call, Deary. When it comes to innings pitched,
always know if the juice is worth the squeeze.
Always know that. Shout out to my guy, Robbie Baseball, right there for that clip. That's for you, Robbie. Hope you're doing well. Happy Canada Day. Actually, Canada Day's already happened this year. It's over. All righty. I'm going to Niagara Falls this weekend, though, Deary. What do you think of that?
You're going to Niagara Falls. You're going to the Canada side, right?
Yeah, we're going to be very close to you guys. Yeah. You're going to be right all over the border, actually.
yeah, we'll be over the border in about an hour further east. But yeah, we're both heading out.
We couldn't come by if we wanted to. That's the dumb world we live in.
Yeah, she cannot come into America. You are banned.
So stupid. God, so stupid. If anybody knows how to get my girlfriend labeled with an essential worker status so she could just come over the border, that would be great. It would save us a lot of money at hotels every weekend because then we could stay at my house. Thank you.
The first day pod is essential, Michael.
Damn right it is. Damn right it is. Maybe that's a good idea.
There's our workaround.
I'm going to find a lawyer, see if I can make that happen. Good call, Deary. Deary is wise. If you're not following Deary, then you're not learning anything at all. Not until you follow Deary. See Deary 1999. All right. As promised, we said that we would talk about our favorite game show. We haven't played it in a while, but, the season's still dragging on. Fab, putting your bids in. Waiver wire action. It's all a lot of fun. Speaking of Fab, Vlad Sedler, friend of the show. Big fan of Vlad. He's leaving his current position over there at Fantasy Guru and Elite Fantasy, where he's done a lot of great work, and he probably does maybe the best weekly article on Fab every week at the Guru site. He's leaving that, but the good news is the information he has and the knowledge and the wisdom will stay with Vlad, and wherever he ends up next, man, they're going to be some lucky people, man, because that article is so helpful to me personally. Every week I use it. I subscribed. I think the sub was $40 for the year. Best $40 I spent when it comes to fantasy in a long time, because his article goes through every detail, every position, every format from 15 teams to 12 teams. He breaks it all down. It's so good. It's so damn good. So wherever you end up, Vlad Sedler, let me know ASAP, because I got to get over there and make sure I'm on that Fab article for 2022.
Yeah, it's not a farewell. It's a congratulations on another fantastic season of him putting out some amazing content. And, Vlad is such an amazing guy. We've had him on the show, an unbelievably important guy to the industry, friend of ours, just like he can be a friend of yours as well, and puts out some of the best content. So wherever he lands on his feet, I'm sure he will be successful, and we will all be buying his content if we can as we move forward into next year.
Woohoo! Well said, Deary. Well said. Jaybird says, she, meaning my girlfriend Leanne, she has to buy supplies in the States for her business. Canadians could come into our casino, and that's how they are led across. No shit! What? Fucking, I got to look at Jay. We got to talk off air. I will contact you ASAP. Yes, I will find you. I will find you. Shout out Daniel Day-Lewis. All right, it's time to play Name That Runner-Up Failbid. It's time to play the most ridiculous and pointless game that is sweeping the nation. That's right. It's time for Name That Runner-Up Failbid. That's a catchy tune. Jaybird says, I agree with your take on Vlad. I get to hang with him for a bit in Vegas for the NFBC drafts. Great guy. Well, you are a cool dude. You're a very cool dude. Speaking of hang with people, First Pitch Arizona is only 6 weeks away from today. 6 weeks from right now. We're going to be flying out to Arizona for the big First Pitch Con. I'm really excited about it. And if you want to be there, you can still go. Go to baseballhq.com. Check out First Pitch Arizona. You got forums, panels, conferences, rookie ball with the Arizona Fall League going on. Tons of cool shit. I'll be there. You want to be there and meet me? I will talk to you in person. We will sit down, and I will give you at least 10 minutes of my time. I'm locking that in. At least 10 minutes. I could give you more, but I'm guaranteeing 10 wonderful minutes with yours truly. Doesn't that sound like fun?
You're going to be a busy guy down there.
Whoa, Dilly! All right, let's get down to it, Deary. There have been Fab bids. What league are you still bidding on? Are you bidding anywhere, or is the party over?
Yeah, TGFBI, I've still been bidding.
Yay! How much money you got left? You got any money left? Because this point of the season, man, managing your bank account is one of the keys to being a quality Fab bidder.
Let me see here. Oh, we're playing that at the feast this year if I go, by the way. We're playing the pyramid.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, we got to. We've got to.
PC load letter. Come on.
PC Love Letter. In my main event, I still have $107 in my main event in September. That's amazing, actually.
All right, give me a second here.
How much? Wait, let me guess first.
Yeah.
Let me guess how much money you have left, and then I want to guess how much money the team with the most money in your league still has. I think that's fun too. So I'm going to guess
hold
that you
on.
have.
How do I get to this?
Go to League Home on the NFC page there. Click on League and then click League Home. It'll tell you your fab budget and the fab budget of every other team.
There we go. Okay.
I'm going to say that you have $62 left.
No.
Is it higher?
I have way more than that.
420?
I have $562 left.
Wow! Fucking A, dude.
Most of my bids I got pretty low. I got on the cheap. There's a couple guys that still have $1,000 left. Let's see.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. The guy in fourth in our league the guy in sixth in our league has $916 left.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Man, that's TGFBI. A lot of people just kind of they check out or they're just not as interested.
I've been consistently I've been making moves every week. I don't think I've spent over
not you. Yeah.
$60-$70 on anyone all season.
So what have you learned from that? Do you think you'll be more aggressive next year?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because it's a lot of money to have left in September. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I was a little cognizant about it at the start of the season, making sure I didn't blow my load too early.
But then you took that a little bit to heart, I feel like.
Thank you, Jesus!
It happens.
You want to guess who?
So are you not? You said some guys have $1,000 in your league.
Yeah, two guys. Yeah, the guys that are in 14th and 15th place.
Jeez, that's so silly. How about me? So I'll go to my TGFBIs to make it reasonable then. Fair. How much money do you think I have left in mine?
What place are you in?
I'm in 5th place.
112.
Oh, if you take off $100, you're only $1 off. $11.
Oh, wow.
$11.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the brink here, man. I'm doing nothing but dollar bids here to try to fill the void, and I just cannot close the gap beyond 5th place. I've been there for a while. I'm at 97.5 points, and 4th place is at 103.5. So I'm still trying. I'm grinding. It can be done, but we'll see what happens. How about the team with the most money left? And it's not 1,000. It is not 1,000. Oh, just kidding. Just kidding. It's
there's 1,000.
15th place has $1,000.
Makes
Looks
sense.
like they did not try. The British
Thank you for
baseball,
participating.
Yeah, the British Baseball Podcast. Sorry, dude. Doesn't look like it worked out. Shit happens. Anyways, let's play the game we're supposed to play here now. I'll start with my main event team because the main event, these people are trying to win a shitload of money. It's just insane. I am tied for 4th in the main event, Deary. Can you believe that?
You should be proud of yourself. You've made, I think, about 2 months ago, maybe a little over a month and a half ago, you talked about how it's over. There's no point in doing this anymore. You're way down. And then I think you woke up the next day and you had a realization. You're like, this is not me. I try my hardest at everything I do, and you've climbed the standings. I'm proud of you on your first main event. I know you're not going to end up in the money, but hey, man, you didn't give up.
Thank you, Deary. That was very, very, very kind of you. And I appreciate that greatly. Did you know that 3rd place is $1,700?
Do you have any chance at that?
Yeah, I'm in 4th at 96 points, and 3rd place is at 104. So I'm 7 points back.
Okay.
And I was down in the 7. I mean, I was at like 74, 73, 72 points, and now I'm up in the 90s. So I don't know. Anything's possible. I'm gonna keep trying. It's just crazy.
Well,
very
can't
crazy.
cheat, so
do some cheating. The thing about it is, guys.
Let's do some bids here.
Yeah, let's do those bids. So in the main event, I'm hanging tough. The great news too is, like I said, I got $107, which puts me the 3rd most money available. So if something happens or some guy does get called up, like we said, it doesn't seem likely, but I will be able to pounce on that son of a biscuit. All right, as far as the fab results from last week, how about this fella, Edward Cabrera, the Miami Marlins hot pitching prospect people are excited about. Edward Cabrera, the winning bid for Eddie was $21. What was the runner-up fab bid on the $21 bid for Edward Cabrera in my main event league?
18.
Not bad, not bad. 14 is the answer. 14. Over to you, Deary.
Let's go twofer. I got Edward Cabrera as well because there's not many runner-up bids here over these last couple of weeks. So Edward Cabrera was one for $61. What's the runner-up on this one?
I feel like people are into that. He's a prospect. People get hard-ons for prospect. But I don't know. I'm going to say 23.
You are correct.
What?
You're correct. $23 was the runner-up bid.
No way.
Yes.
Are you shitting me?
No. What was the winning bid in your league? 24?
It's 21.
21? Okay. Yeah, you got it right.
Holy shit. Oh, that's hard. You said the winning bid was in the 60s. That
was 61, yeah. I mean,
wow.
That's certainly tough.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Holy cow. You're getting better at this. That is, that might be the proudest moment of the season right there.
My favorite part about this is the guy who picked him up dropped J.A. Happ to pick up Edward Cabrera. The week before, he put out a winning fab bid for J.A. Happ that he then dropped the next week, and he bid $151 for him the week before, and the runner-up bid was $1.
I think I remember that. I think I remember you talking about that. That's so funny. And J.A. Happ got torched today by Nick Castellanos, so that's fun. Good God. All right, let's head on back over to the main event league. One more. Well, we did the main event. Let's try a different one. How about we go to the tag team league, which is an intense rivalry. Some of the best are in this league. The tag team league, where me and Air Cross are hanging tough. We're not trying to jinx it, but it's getting tighter. It's 108.5 to 101. Zach Waxman and Mike Curlin are trying to come after us, and we got a long month ahead of us because we had a 14-point lead, and it's shrunk a bit. So I'm a little paranoid right now. Anyways, in the tag team league, people are aggressive still. Glen Otto. You know who Glen Otto is, Deary?
Glotto?
Glotto! Hey, Steve Johnson in the house. What's up, Steve? How you been?
Glen Otto sounds like a hockey player.
He does sound like a hockey player. Steve, I haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome into the shows. We're talking Glen Otto. And Glen Otto was bid in the tag team league for $45.
Oh, wait, this is a real player? I have no idea who this guy is.
Yeah, Glen Otto is a former Yankees prospect who's called on with the Rangers, and he had a nice outing the week before last in his debut. He pitched like 5 innings, had 8 Ks. Wow. It was very promising. So it's a nice little player, Glen Otto. It was $35 was the winning bid for Glen Otto in this tag team league. What was the runner-up fab bid for Glen Otto of the Texas Rangers? 25 years old, 6'5", 240 pounds, and he has pitched 2 games for the Yankees this season as a starter, and he's pitched 1 for the Texas Rangers as a starter this year.
Can you tell me who they played last week?
Sure. That does matter. Standing by, look at the game log. He pitched against Houston. 5 innings, like I said, 7 strikeouts. Nice. Only 2 hits and no walks. That's a nice little outing against the Houston Astros.
Yeah. I was just trying to see like how aggressive people would be based on what that matchup might be on the upcoming week. Winning bid was what again? I'm sorry.
$35 for Glen Otto. Hey, Glen Otto. Steve Johnson, do you like Glen Otto? Let us know in the live stream comments.
I'll go with $9.
Oh, man, that is great. It was 6. So close.
Okay, single digits.
If you flip that around, man, well done. Well done. Steve Johnson, what'd you think it was? We didn't get your bid on that. Let us know here in the live stream comments. You can play the game with us. Deary, give us one more.
All right, let's go. Ian Happ, winning bid $16. I think you got a good shot at this one, Mike. You only got a 1 in 15 chance.
So Ian Happ's still on my main event team, believe it or not. I waited all year for him because I can't drop him now. He's going to get going. I said that like 6 weeks in a row. But he now has 17 fucking home runs. It's hilarious.
I think I've owned him 4 times in one of my leagues.
Oh, I believe it. I absolutely believe it. I mean, he's hitting what? He's hitting 199 with a 299 OBP, but he's got 17 home runs now. And a lot of those have come over the last month or so, I believe. So, poor Ian Happ. $16. I'm going to say, oh, by the way, Deary, you're in good company. Steve Johnson says, never heard of Glen Otto either. No one knows Glen Otto.
I mean, I watch baseball every day.
Trust me. There's so many names that come and go now. Like Patrick Wisdom. This is the thing about draft champions leagues, the DCs that you can do on NFBC, which is a draft and hold. It's a preseason.
Nobody has Patrick Wisdom, right?
Nobody.
Yeah.
And he's been a monster. That's why those leagues, you lock in who you got, and that's the same for everybody. But it takes some of the fun out of these guys that come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to say the winning bid, if it was $16, the runner-up bid was $12.
Oh, $10.
Oh, Bob Saget. Okay, that happens. All right, there it is. We played a wonderful edition of Name That Runner-Up Fab Bid. Woohoo, yippee, yay!
Thank you, Jesus.
We hope you enjoyed that. Now let's go to the final segment of the show. We're going to talk about some players. So set the table for you on the Pallazzo Podcast. 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah.
On Twitter.
Give me 2.
Instagram, our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to it. Please, pretty please, do us a favor. Do us a solid. It's Labor Day weekend coming up. Say thanks by subbing the Pallazzo Podcast YouTube channel. Follow C. Deary on Twitter, CDeary1999, Deary as in dearly beloved, and of course myself, MJ Govier, G-O-V as in Victor, I-E-R. Keeper leagues. Now, you have conundrums. You have issues. You're thinking, what should I do? Should I keep this player or this player? And you have, in some cases, a full season's worth of stats to be like, okay, well, I've seen what I've seen from this player. But in other instances, they've been terrible, but then they've been good again, and then they haven't been good. And you're kind of sitting there saying, what do I do? Who's the real player? Will the real, what do they say? The real McCoy or the real Slim Shady please stand up? Isn't that what they say?
Yeah, I thought you were just going to go to M.
Right. So which is which? Is the player who you thought they were coming into the preseason, or is it the one they showed you when they showed out and gave you nothing, or they showed their ass and gave you nothing? That's what I want to know. So we're going to give you 2 sets here, a one player and another player, and we're going to decide which one you should keep and then the reasons for that, okay?
2 little mice fell in a bucket of cream.
That's what this is. We're calling this segment 2 Little Mice Fell into a Bucket of Cream. So that's all it is. We got 2 little mice. And the first one I have for you, Deary, Brennan Rogers of the Colorado Rockies versus Nick Solak of the Texas Rangers.
Ooh, wow.
Now, some of you might be saying, this is dumb. Neither one of those guys are keepable. Well, first off, it depends on your keeper setup, what type of league you're in, so don't give me all the bullshit or be like, oh, that's stupid. This is a legit debate. Deary, what do you think here? You don't have to put any parameters on it. Just say, if you had to keep one of the 2, which one do you think you would keep?
Oh, God, that's tough.
It is.
So I'm just kind of looking at these numbers here. Once Brennan Rogers started to get consistent playing time, he was pretty damn good. But it's just been back and forth of whether he's getting consistent playing time with the Rockies. I'd like to see more home runs out of him. He's batted 300 in the second half, but the second half there's only been 56 plate appearances. Obviously, there's been some injury issues. There's been some playing time issues. He seems to bat really, really well at home against left-handed pitching, which, in that ballpark can be really, really enticing. I think he's a part of their future there in Colorado. And then you're going, oh, my God, I'm an idiot. I'm looking at Nick Solak's numbers. Okay, I'm an idiot. I got both these tabs up, and I'm on the wrong tab. I knew something was wrong because I know Brennan Rogers has been playing consistently here. So Brennan Rogers –
I wasn't even listening. I'm an asshole too, so look at me.
Let's look at Brennan Rogers first half. Batted 261, 20 RBIs, 0 stolen bases. You're not going to get any stolen bases out of this guy. 20 RBIs, 12 runs, 5 home runs, 134 plate appearances. Second half, a little better, 294 average, which I really, really like. Only 5 home runs. I want to see more power out of this guy. He's played in 74 games on the season. I would have liked to have seen this guy play in 140 games of the season, but it just hasn't happened. Nick Solak was a guy that I was huge on coming into this season. Drafted him in many, many leagues, had lots of shares, similar to Nick Senzel of the Cincinnati Reds. Guy came out gangbusters in March and April. He was great. He had 7 home runs, 14 RBIs, had a couple stolen bases. Batted 293 in March and April, and then May hits. He bats 200. June hits, 207. July, 163. And then if you owned him and you picked him up here in August through 35 at-bats, 39 plate appearances, 371. That's pretty damn good. Second half here, only 56 plate appearances. Obviously, he had that DL stint as well, has batted 300. The strikeouts have gone down tremendously. So just looking at his last 2 months here, he has struck out, if you look at July and August combined, he only struck out 10 times in 78 plate appearances. In June, he had 82 plate appearances, struck out 19 times. In May, 123 plate appearances, struck out 29 times. He had even less in March and April, 112 plate appearances, struck out 32 times. So all he seemed to do was strike out in that first half. But in the second half, only 5 strikeouts and 56 plate appearances. So he seems to have figured something out. I would have loved to have seen more stolen bases out of him. I think Brendan Rogers is going to be my guy here. I like the fact that he plays in Colorado. He's finally going to be able to get some playing time here. This guy was a number 3 overall pick here for the Rockies. They don't have much else. He's got second base, third base eligibility. I think Brendan Rogers is going to be my guy. I think now it's tough because obviously you're asking us, why are we talking about these two guys? Look, if you're in a keeper league where you're keeping 20 players, 17 players, these are going to be those fringe guys where you have to make decisions. Obviously, there could be 8, 9 guys that are slam dunks for your team. But where you really win championships in your next year is you're projecting what might happen next year. And I think Brendan Rogers, if he can bring up that walk rate, get that eye a little better, and get to what he was doing when he was in the minor leagues, when he was able to steal some bags. Looking at 2018 in Double-A ball, he had 17 home runs, 62 RBIs, 12 stolen bases, struck out under 20% of the time, and batted .275. Those are pretty solid numbers through 402 plate appearances, 95 games. So split that in half, and you're looking at a guy who has possibility of hitting 25 home runs, getting close to 80, 90 runs, and 275. So 278 this year. I think Brendan Rogers is on the come right now, and I think next year could be a guy who you're probably targeting a little later. But if you're in a dynasty or a keeper league where you're keeping close to 20 guys, he's going to be that fringe guy. If he comes out and has a breakout next year, you're going to look like a genius that you kept him.
Well done, Deary. It's not funny. It's well done. I agree with you completely. I think you're a wise man, but I don't agree with you completely. I just think your point is well done, but I have to take a different approach. Mike Steele saying here in the live chat, I haven't seen any significant prospects being called up except Keibert Ruiz, which, yes, he's got a new bag in the Nationals dugout because he's no longer a Dodger. Mike Steele also says, Ryan looked okay today, but it was against the Cubs, and his fastball was 89 miles an hour. Ugh. Okay. Is that good? Is that bad?
89?
That's not good, right?
It's not blowing him away, but he's also pitching against the Cubs.
Who's Ryan? Am I stupid? Is this from earlier in the show? I feel like a moron right now. We're live on the air, and I'm like,
what are you talking
Ryan,
about?
This chat. Ryan says, Ryan looked okay today, but it was against the Cubs, and his fastball was 89 miles an hour. Is that Kyle Ryan? He pitches for the Cubs.
No. This kid for, was it Minnesota? I was going against him today.
Oh, Joe Ryan.
Yeah.
Shit. Joe Ryan. That's right. I did. Oh, my God, Mike, I'm so dumb. Mike Steele, thank you for bringing that up. I forgot about Joe Ryan. I have not seen him all year because he hasn't pitched in the majors, but now he's up. That's great news. Woohoo! So that's breaking news.
5 innings, 5 strikeouts.
I haven't been a couple of...
Gave up a few runs, but...
I was just bitching about DCs, but I have him in a couple DCs. Now I can finally use him, and I really need him because I have like 10 injured pitchers. That's the other thing about a DC. All the injuries that happened this year, some entire pitching staff's wiped out. Just entirely. It's crazy.
Yeah. No more DCs.
But as far as this,
2 little mice fell in a bucket of cream.
It happens. Sometimes mice fall in cream. And between Nick Solak and Brendan Rogers, Deary, you made a great case there. I think it's a toss-up. I really do. If you need steals more, if you're in a league, a roto league, it's a roto keeper league, I think I might go Solak there. Otherwise, points leagues, head-to-head, I think I'm going with Rodgers. The Coors effect, as you mentioned, although it hasn't been as pronounced this year. Coors. Which is interesting, but we won't go into that right now because that's just a whole nother segment. But I love Nick Solak's makeup, and I don't buy what happened to him. He struggled. Shit happens. He's back now, and he's playing for the Rangers. And, he's been all right. He had a home run on, Sunday, I think it was. And he's had 2 home runs since he's been back, I believe, which is good. And the steals haven't been there as much, but he can run. So I think Roto, it's Solak. Otherwise, I might go Rodgers. But I think it's very, very tight. But I believe in both, Deary. I like both these players a lot. That's why I brought it up, and I think it's a fascinating conundrum between the two of them.
Yeah, next year is going to be a real important year for both these guys to see if they're going to be consistent major league producers and fantasy players, or they're just going to turn into utility guys.
Mm-hmm. And Brennan Rogers had a home run, 3 RBIs today, so he could hit for a better average, I think, than Solak. But I don't think it's by much. I really don't. I really love Solak like you, Deary. It's going to be tough to move on from him, and I'm going to be stuck with those two guys for a while because I just love both of them. Let's try the next one here. Jesus Luzardo or Casey Mize? Now, we already talked about Casey. We already talked about Casey Mize and what you kind of made your point about it earlier in the show. For those of you that have made it this far, you already heard Deary's commentary on Mize. I will say this. Casey Mize wasn't my favorite of the trio, the triumvirate of Detroit Tigers pitchers that were coming up as prospects, but
Go Tigers.
He's really impressed me and surprised me. Scooble has impressed me the most, like you, I agree. But Mize's strikeouts is the main concern, as you said. And Jesus Luzardo has a better strikeout potential. He also pitches for a team that really knows pitching. I think his changeup could be vastly improved and take it to a new level, just like they did with Trevor Rodgers. They do it with Pablo Lopez. The changeup in the Miami Marlins is just something they know how to do it there. They're the masters. And I'm going to go Jesus Luzardo here. I know he was so bad, but he also got hurt, and I just forget about it. Just like the Solak period where he wasn't so great. Forget about it. Shit happens. He's really starting to dominate now. His last outing, he was stupid good. He gave up like 1 or 2 hits, had 8 Ks. He is on his way to being Luzardo. This was a guy that like everybody wanted. He was like the pitching prospect. And so is Casey Mize. He's the number 1 overall pick. So it is a tough call. Both teams are growing. Both pitchers are growing. What do you do here? If you're keeping a player between Mize and Luzardo, Deary, what do you do?
Oh, so this is interesting because I think Casey Mize is going to be a very consistent pitcher in this league for a very long time. He's probably going to pitch in this league a good 12 to 15 years. I think as long as he can stay away from arm injuries, the guy's got the makeup to be a very solid number 2, number 3 starter. I'm not sure he ever turns into a number 1, but he's going to be here for this whole rebuild with the Tigers. He's a guy who's probably going to be winning double-digit games every year. Sure, he's not going to strike out 200 guys, but he's got good stuff. He's got really good command. He's probably going to hang around 3.2 to 3.6 for an ERA for a while. He's going to be very consistent. Going to be a nice fantasy pitcher for you. But I think just the chance that Jesus Luzardo, with the stuff that he just has incredible stuff. The changeup, the slider. Just going back, thinking of some of those first games that he's had at the start of the season where he was just electric through like 3-4 innings, striking people out. And then he would have this one blow-up inning where he just couldn't get the ball over the plate. This guy has the stuff to be a top-line fantasy player for you. Now, what concerns me is coming into next year. So, okay, he's pitched 66 innings between the two teams, obviously got moved over to Florida. How many innings is this guy going to be able to pitch next year? I mean, he's had arm problems in the past. He hasn't pitched. This year's the most amount of innings he's ever pitched in his career, and he's been playing pro ball since 2017. And he's at 66 innings. So, are you going to be able
24 at the end of the month too?
Yeah, are you going to be able to see 130 innings next year? I'm not sure about that, but what I love the point that you made is he is in a great situation in Miami. We've seen what that pitching staff has been able to do under the pitching coach. I think the Marlins had such an underwhelming season. I thought they were a team that were going to start to get it going, a little bit before the All-Star break and maybe go on a run and start competing, but it just didn't happen. They obviously traded away Marte and, they got Luzardo now. I think Luzardo has better stuff than Mize to be a guy who could really end up being that hot button guy that like, hey, I kept him, or maybe I drafted him and he ends up being a frontline starter and a huge fantasy asset, but there's also a ton of risk there. Casey Mize next year, you're probably seeing 180 innings out of Casey Mize. They've done a great job limiting his innings, but he's still end up going to get about 160 innings this year, which is incredible. I did not think I was going to see that. So I think Mize is the dependable one. If you're keeping him, I think you know what you're going to get out of him. But I think Luzardo could end up being that superstar, or he could be a total bust. So do you want to go with dependable, or do you want to go with the guy that could really, really change your pitching staff in fantasy?
Woo! Casey Mize. You love Chris Fetter, though.
I do, yes.
Chris Fetter, pitching coach for the Tigers. Mel Stoudemire Jr., pitching coach for the Miami Marlins. But you believe in Fetter made, but you're still going Luzardo.
I am going to go with Luzardo because when it comes down to me thinking of like specifically my own, like I'm taking away like me giving advice to anybody else. I'm thinking of my own like obsession I have with guys that I always think are going to be the breakout. And I traded for Luzardo in the offseason because I thought this was going to be the breakout season. I knew I wasn't going to get a ton of innings out of him, but I was like, hey, I'm going to win the first half of a lot of leagues because I went after Luzardo. And then it just didn't happen. You know, he didn't perform well. He went to the DL or the IL. Now he's in a new situation. So I think both guys have the opportunity to be very dependable for you next year.
Yeah, man. Luzardo, everybody loves Luzardo. He has a very special arm, and he's a special talent. Casey Mize, a number 1 overall pick. I think it's a really fascinating and curious comp. If you have that keeper conundrum, you're in a good position. If you have both of them, then you could probably trade one in the offseason and maybe get a different position of need. If you have to make a choice between the two, I'm curious what you guys will do out there. Let us know. Pallazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's. You can DM us on Twitter. You can talk on the live stream like Mike Steele is. Everything is in play right now. This is an exciting time. I'm really excited for the postseason, the offseason. Things are going to change, and we're going to have a CBA nightmare that's going to change the world, which we have to go through. Talk with Mike Steele here in the live chat about that thing specifically, because he's asking about, hey, do you think we'll see some of these guys who didn't get called up in September break camp in early 2022? But we can't know that, right? Because we have to have the CBA nightmare go down first, right, Deary?
We still have to talk about this damn CBA nightmare. Can we just let me enjoy this last month of the season?
Went over.
Okay, fine. But that's what's
maybe
that's
it won't
just
be
a
a
reality.
nightmare.
You can't avoid it.
Maybe we'll get a Halloween treat and everything will be fine.
Look, well, Mike Steele said, you think Witt breaks camp plus Seattle pulls a White Sox and gives a contract and he breaks camp for Kelenic, or you think he comes up in late April? See, this is the kind of shit that's going to be CBA impacted. There's a reckoning coming, but we're not going to focus on it now, Mike Steele. I'm going to do Deary a favor because Deary wants to enjoy the final month of the season and then the playoffs, and then there's going to be a reckoning after that. Just know a reckoning is coming. Steele says the thing is, Kingery is not giving the Phillies their money back either. Kingery? Yeah. Poor Scott Kingery. Remember Scott Kingery had a chance to be good? He had a decent season. He hit 15 home runs, stole 15 bags in like 150 games. And it was
sounds like Nick Solak.
Oh, wow, dude. That is some cold shit. Damn! Fair enough. Touche, my friend. Touche.
I kept Kingery at one point. He was my 15th keeper.
Yeah. We've all been there, Deary. Trust me. I rode the Kingery train to the bitter end. I even drafted him a couple times coming into the season. Mike Steele says as well, the guy to target at a discount next year is Lindor. Okay. Well, remember you said that, Mike. Remember you said that right here. Seriously, because if that comes to fruition, you're going to look like a smart man, because that's a long contract still ahead for Francisco Lindor in a Mets uniform. All right, let's get back to the Two Little Mice.
What did you have? A few drinks this morning?
We got more? Ooh.
I don't think I did I?
2 little mice fell in a bucket of cream.
How about this one? Jorge Polanco of the Minnesota Twins or Ahmed Rosario of the Cleveland Spiders or the Cleveland Guardians now? Jorge Polanco's had a great second half.
Jorge Polanco, who I love. Disappointing first half. You just said how great his second half has been. And who was the other one? Rosario?
Ahmed Rosario. Both guys have had solid second halves. Rosario has come on with steals, and he's hit for a little bit better average this half. Is this an obvious call, or is it closer than you think?
It's probably Polanco for me.
I agree, too. I thought maybe it would be a little bit of a closer debate. That's all. Because
Polanco's got power. He's still going to give you double-digit stolen bases. Can bat 275. I mean, just looking at his numbers, like his numbers still ended up being pretty solid. He's going to be close to 90 runs, 90 RBIs, and even 30 home runs. Like, I think this is, this Polanco blows him out of the water, I believe.
Oh, Ahmed Rosario's hitting 290, though, and that's at almost 500 appearances at the plate, 67 runs. The steals are somewhat there. He's got 12 steals, so that's nice.
If he turns into a guy that can hit 25 home runs, then this is a lot closer.
No way. Yeah, that's not going to happen, though. It'd be nice if it happened, but
Yeah, I think
Polanco's going to hit for a little bit more power.
Mm-hmm.
But they both can steal bags. 10 steals for Polanco, 12 for Rosario, and Rosario has the edge of the batting average. But Polanco has more pop, a 30 home run season. If he finishes this year with 30 bombs, I'm going to be even impressed by that because I liked him, but I did not expect 30 bombs from him this year. That would be really cool. I would love to see that. All right. I take Polanco all day, by the way. I want that on the record. Rosario's cool at times, but Polanco could do everything Rosario could do, basically. I really think Polanco could hit for as good as average as Rosario can. He's got the stick. And then finally, how about this one? This is an interesting one for 2022 keeper purposes. Noah Syndergaard, who's trying to make his way back.
No.
Because that's what...
I'll take anybody but Noah Syndergaard.
So Noah Syndergaard versus anybody. Go.
Name a player.
Brady Singer.
Ooh, Brady Singer. Why Brady Singer? God, he was another guy I was so high on coming to the season. I just don't know what Syndergaard has left, man. I mean, we all saw it before that arm completely broke down. Just pitching at that high of a velocity, you're always going to have arm problems. I don't know if he's going to be able to come back and still throw as hard as he did before. But there was a lot of inconsistency when he was healthy, and the last season that he was healthy is he would have games where he'd strike out 11 to 13 guys. And then there'd be other games where he just had a problem and couldn't keep people off the base, which was the issue that Brady Singer has had all season long. Brady Singer, all he's been doing is just walking people. The strikeouts have been nice. He's been able to put together some decent strikeout games, but I'm probably taking Singer here just because I think Syndergaard, there's just way too much unknown.
Well, if Syndergaard's healthy, he's recovered fully. I mean, he's a legit pitcher, and Singer's on his way. That's why I find this to be a somewhat intriguing comp, because you got the guy who's been around. He's not done. I mean, Syndergaard's still got life left in his arm. But
yeah, I gotta see it first.
On the run.
I gotta see it first. If we're trying to keep a guy between the two of them, obviously a lot has to do with the rest of your roster construction. If you have 3 or 4 other really solid pitchers, then yeah, take a gander and keep Syndergaard. He's going to be coming back next year, and hopefully he's healthy. But I still think there's just a lot of risk for a guy that hasn't pitched in 2 years.
He just turned 29.
Isn't that crazy?
Days ago.
Isn't that crazy?
Syndergaard. Yeah,
I know.
He was 28. He just turned 29 3 days ago.
Nuts.
So he's got life left in that arm, guys. So don't bail on Syndergaard. Keeper-wise versus Singer. Singer is showing that he can strike people out. He's right at a 9K per 9, so that's solid. That's rock solid for a starter. The whip is out of control, but he's also had a bunch of blow-up starts. If you take away the injury and you start looking through the game log, you'll notice a lot of blow-up starts that really implode the numbers for Singer. So I would be a little bit more cautious of the numbers and the final overall total stats that you see from Singer. I will say this as well. He's got a FIP of 382, ERA 487. That's positive. I'd like to see that, and that does support a bit of what I was just saying.
I think Singer in the offseason is going to work on that changeup a lot more, and if he gets to a point where he's throwing that changeup, 22, 23% of the time, and that ends up being his strikeout pitch more than that excellent slider he has, then he becomes a stud.
Well said. Well said, dear. There it is. 2 little mice.
2 little mice fell in a bucket of cream. The first mouse quickly gave up and drowned. The second mouse wouldn't quit. He struggled so hard that eventually he turned that cream into butter and crawled out.
That's amazing.
Gentlemen, as of this moment, I am that second mouse.
Oh, God, that's such a great movie. All right, there it is. Brady Singer's that second mouse. There it is. We've done the show, folks. It's great to be back on the air. We love you guys. We love connecting and talking fantasy baseball. So many thanks to all of you for watching us, listening to us, engaging with us. Pallazzo Podcast at protonmail.com. Pallazzo Podcast. 2 L's, 2 Z's on Twitter, Instagram.
Give me 2.
All your favorite social media platforms. Christopher Deary, Deary1999. MJ Govier on Twitter. And next week, we will do a show with Joe Gentile. My guy, Joe. He's a great human being. You're going to love Joe. He's been on the First Day Pod, but he's never actually been on the Pallazzo Pod. So we're going to talk baseball with Joe. Deary, anything you're looking forward to as we head into Labor Day and September is officially here? Are you excited for the fall?
Yeah, absolutely, man. This is the best part of the year. I mean, you got football ramping up here. I'm actually excited about some NFL football. Which
I'm
is
really
great.
into football again, man. It's
good.
I know we've been
Good.
through a lot. You've known me for a long time, so some people be like, "Dude, that guy fucking hates football." Those days are over, man. I've changed. I've got
You
back
can
to
change, Mox. Things change.
I used to be the guy who had the Sunday ticket package every year, and I wouldn't leave the couch all Sunday. So
Yeah.
I was a middle ground now. I don't have to be that guy, but I do enjoy the game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm excited about football. I'm excited about these baseball races. I'm excited for these fantasy baseball playoffs I'm going to be in. Maybe win a little bit of cash.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I wish you the best, Deary, and we're going to talk more about that stuff. Don't forget, I'm over at Fantrax now. I'm going to be writing my first article any day now, and I will say no more on that, but go to fantraxhq.com and check out all the great writers. So many wonderful people writing great shit. Check out the Triple Play Fantasy Network. Sub the YouTube channel over there. I got a video on Ramondre Stevenson if you're into fantasy football. I'm going to have another video talking more about, 3 draft pick conundrums I've struggled with so far in my fantasy drafts. You haven't done a fantasy football draft yet, Deary?
I did one the other day.
You did one. Okay.
I had the 14th pick.
Yay!
14 teams.
That sounds like the Novi League. Is it still alive?
Yeah, it was the Novi League.
I've won that league before.
Yeah. I went out. I saw all those guys on Saturday.
I won that league and I was kicked out of it the year I won it. Remember that?
Yeah.
What did I do?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. All I remember was the year Jamal Charles went off, and that was in 2013.
I think you were kicked out the next year because of something that happened in fantasy baseball.
No, seriously. I won the league and I was kicked out. I couldn't play next year.
Yeah, because of something that may have happened in fantasy baseball, so then you were not welcome back to football.
Well, those guys are sticklers, man. You can't mess with those guys. They take their shit seriously, and I do respect that. I always respect that. Don't forget, we're going to be doing other stuff on this channel, so if you ever want to pop in and just look at other songs, other videos, we're here to help you. The Pallazzo Podcast YouTube channel. Sub us. We're trying to get to 200 subs, 2 L's, 2 Z's,
Utah.
200.
Give me
It
2.
all makes sense. I think I've covered everything. There's one more thing. Deary, your birthday present. We haven't hung out in real life. We were supposed to go to the Tigers game, but I ripped my calf, and it was just the day after I ripped my calf. I couldn't walk, so we canceled
I'll see you at some point.
Yeah, well, I got your birthday gift right here. I want to share it on the air before we go.
Nope, not yet.
Why not?
I don't want to. No.
I want everyone to see it.
Not
They're going to
until
love
I see
it.
you. Not until I see you.
Okay, fine. All right, well, it's down here. It's on the floor right now.
Okay. Not until I see you.
Until that day we see each other in real life, I'm Michael Govier. He's Christopher Deary. Thanks, guys, for the interaction. Mike Steele, Stevie Johnson, everybody else who popped in, Richard Sands. We're going to get that trophy to you for the Pallazzo Invitational Championship overall title really soon, my friend. Remember, the show's presented by RotoFanatic.com. Check out our new episode on the RotoFanatic content channel. And until then, we'll catch you on the flip side.